If nothing else works, you can just butt in.
Shout out.
Oh, I'd rather, well, if I butt in, it'll be through you, Mr. Chair, I promise.
Okay, very good. We're going to get started.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So good evening, Community Board members, staff members and members of the public. Welcome to this meeting of the Community Board for Martinborough. We'd like to open with a karakia. Pip will do that for us.
Kia horo te marino, kia whakapapa pounamu te moana, hei huarahi mā tātou, e te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou, ia tātou katoa, huie tai kie.
Thank you. So just a few health and safety things before we start. Emergency exits are well signposted. If we do have to use emergency exits, go out to Texas Street assembly point and wait for further instructions. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the council's YouTube channel. And it will be available on the council's website at a later date. Extraordinary business. I don't know that we have any, do we? Anybody have any extraordinary business? No, we'll take that as a no. I have apologies. I have two apologies. Aidan is down south, so he can't attend. He may try to buzz in if he gets time, but wouldn't count on that. And also Angela has taken sick, so she won't be here today. So can we have somebody to move the apologies?
I'll move those.
Second it. Thank you. Do we have any conflicts of interest? No. Good. Any acknowledgements or tributes?
I would like to make an acknowledgement for one of our Martinborough locals, Trevor Hawkins. He was recognised in the New Year's Honours List.
Yep.
And received a QSM for his services to the community, which over the years has been varied. Really, he is an amazing support person for so many of our different sporting, cultural and business areas of the community. So I'd just like to make that acknowledgement. Kia ora.
Thank you. Well done as well. Thank you very much. Mel.
Sorry, I figured out how to put my hand up, but that's all I was doing.
Do you want to put your hand up now?
No, it was when you asked if anyone wanted to second it, I thought I'd give it a try.
Okay, well done. It works.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to bring forth the Community Board meeting minutes from the meeting of December 7th. There can be no additions unless somebody has corrections to make to the minutes. If not, can I have a name to put forward the motion to accept the minutes?
Sorry, that's not a motion. I'm trying to put in a correction, so I do have my hand up.
Okay, I can see that now. Yes, you do.
Yeah,
You have a correction to make?
I do. Through you, Mr. Chair, the information about the discussions we had on the Pain Farm finances when we were discussing how much to put aside to make available for grants, that's missing. Unless anyone can point me in from within the minutes, because one of the things that I would...
I'm just trying to recall whether we actually decided to do something about it at that meeting or do it at the next meeting. Can you recall?
On page 5, Chair.
Page 5, sorry.
Yeah, so it was... So we were putting down an extra, so what it's not saying is that, certainly what isn't noted is that I asked on a number of occasions if we could be guaranteed that we would not be in deficit before we were setting any grant funding. And even though the papers haven't arrived to our board tonight, there were papers presented yesterday at the strategic committee meeting that has financial information that we will be in deficit. So I really would like that put into the minutes, and that I did ask on a number of occasions what the status was before we set any grant funding round. Is that okay to add that?
I would think so. You can add that. Yes,
Yeah, I've got that.
okay.
But we resolved to set the funding for $50,000. According to the minutes. So that's not correct.
It's in the founding.
Or is that not correct?
Well, I think what Mel's saying is that I think we had an agreement to wait for a final statement. Is that right, Mel?
Been waiting for about
We
3
were
years.
setting, well, no, on the basis that council officers were telling us that we definitely would have the funding there, the funds there. We set it at $50,000, but finances that have not been to our table on Payne Farm went to a council table yesterday that states that we will be in deficit for the second time only in its history.
That's correct, but only by $4,700. We have got $102,000 in reserve.
But that was still a,
Yes. Can I
I'm not
just say,
saying that's good or acceptable, but I'm still saying we need to give some money.
oh,
I
yes,
totally
That's not what she's
understand
doing.
that.
Yep.
I totally understand that. However, if we are unaware of what is happening, if we don't have the correct information, we could misuse the Payne Farm and put it into a terrible state, such as it having a large deficit. So that's all I just wanted that added into the notes, that it was questioned and
Minutes and
confirmed on a number of occasions. So yes, we did move forward from that to setting the $50,000, and that was on the basis that we would not be in deficit.
Understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, we've made a notification to that. Do you want it read out or not?
Sorry, yes, please. I accidentally put it
I'll
on.
get Robin to read it out to you in a sec when she's finished it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I've got members have a concern that Payne Farm not go into deficit. And that you'd like the discussion, some of the discussion around that to be returned to the minutes.
I'm not sure if that's encapsulating what you want. So, Mel, just looking at what we can say there.
I was on mute again. Sorry.
Sorry,
Sorry, I'd muted myself again.
that's right. I think we can leave the statement in there at the funding of $50,000,
yes.
Mhm.
but we have to make an amendment that there was discussion around,
So in the part where it says members discuss the financials for Payne Farm,
yep, we should add it to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whether or not it would be in deficit for the 23-24 financial year.
mhm,
And the fact that we were told it wouldn't be, because that's really important. Otherwise, it looked like we asked it and then, didn't go forward. So that bit as well. Sorry.
well, that doesn't, but at the time, that's got nothing to do with it. So at the time, it was just that this is for the minutes, so all we needed to put in there is what the query was, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess.
Sorry, Mel, we're just rewriting something here.
So,
Thank you, Jan.
the rescued us. During the meeting, the board sought confirmation that the funds would not be in deficit, and this was confirmed by staff.
Yep.
Happy with that, Mel?
Perfect, in a nutshell. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Janice. Okay, so with that amendment, do we want to
Move.
move the minutes be taken as read?
Yes.
Somebody, thank you. Pip,
I'll move that with the amendment.
with the amendment, yep.
And
Karen?
I'll second.
Okay, Mel, sorry, thank you. Okay. So now I think we'll move to the public participation. I know we have two members here already and there's a third potentially on their way. Steph, you're first up. Just so that people can see you, if you step forward into that. Thank you.
So yeah, I'm here on behalf of the Martinborough Junior Cricket Club. So we are looking to, with council agreement, I've spoken to had a meeting with James, what is it?
Yep.
And then the Martinborough Rugby Club and the Martinborough Soccer Club last year. So we're looking to put a new artificial cricket wicket in round at Coronation Park down by the soccer grounds. The reasoning behind that is the only artificial cricket wicket we've got in Martinborough is at the school. And since the school has put in their new artificial hockey turf, it's taken out quite a bit of the outfield for the cricket. So it's okay for the younger kids. But for the older kids that are playing hardball and also a social men's team, they can no longer use the cricket wicket at the school for their games. We do have access sometimes to Considine Park, but that's a grass wicket, so that's very weather dependent. So for the last couple of years, we haven't even been able to get on that in the first half of the season before Christmas. And we do cover a wide range of areas, like we've got kids down in Paranoa and Nawi that are travelling anyway. So if we can minimise the travel to Masterton and Carterton for those that are further out of town, yeah.
So there's room for that on the park?
There is, so,
Isn't there?
yeah, no, and so at our meeting with the soccer club, the rugby club and James, they've mapped out, so down the soccer club end, they're going to try and put 2 soccer fields in and the artificial will go right in the middle, so it won't affect any of the soccer fields.
Oh, that's quite clever, isn't it? Yeah. Cool.
Can I ask why you selected Coronation, not Considine?
So if we did talk about originally about being at Considine, but it would have to be down this far end towards Kitchener Street. And again, with the hardball and the still men playing, even when they were playing at the school, the balls were flying out of the school field. So we thought there's more room and a bigger boundary.
So why would it have to be down the other end? I can't. Because they play cricket there already.
Yeah, they don't want an artificial by the grass wicket.
They don't, okay. So we're discussing with.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
My only question was just to confirm that the football pitch wasn't losing any.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I just know that that's kind of been increasing in numbers as well. So
we're lucky enough that one of the dads that plays cricket and is a parent of a cricket child is also involved in the soccer club. So he's right in the middle of it and is happy for both sides of the coin. Yep.
Cool.
Have you applied for any other grants on this?
Yeah, so I applied to WBS last year and got $3,000. And I was going to apply to Payne Farm. I'm new to this, so I'm not sure if I can apply here and apply there, but I did speak to Robin and she said I could apply for both. So,
yep.
And again, the amount I applied for, I just hanged an amount in there because I didn't really know if there was a limit or what I was doing.
Go high.
yes.
Yes. Can I just ask, with the pump track, hi Steph, sorry. Just with the pump track going in, it's not going to interfere with the pump track where it's situated?
It's not at Considine, it's at Coronation Park.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh no, sorry then, that's fine.
Urban Parks.
Yeah, different parks. That's great. I thought it was at
I just asked it.
Coronation.
I just asked a difficult question, just.
Yeah.
We are looking also at doing fundraising, but I'm sort of trying to get the grant side of things, so then we know
Yeah,
where we sit and what we need to do.
perfect.
So do I take it you've got 5,000 today?
Yes.
Is that-
So that's the 2,000 from WBS and money that I have pretty much saved from the club to
Fantastic.
rolling. Yeah.
Right, okay. Thank you for that. Is there anything else you want to tell us? We're trying to keep it brief and to the point. Thank you for coming in and making a presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please. Now, we have Stefan here who may be able to tell us, oh no, you tell me what you're here for, then I'll tell you.
You're anticipating.
I was anticipating a wee bit, I was a little bit ahead of myself.
Well, you did suggest I come and make a submission when I wandered along to the
Yes.
because I was seeking information at that time, but then you only had to get to the submission and I was on my horse and have trotter. So, and one of the other things that pushed us a little bit was that I've been asked by other people, what's happening with the speed limit along Jellicoe Street?
And that's where I'd like Stefan, because he gave me some information yesterday, which may answer the question. Didn't you say you were waiting for the new government to give direction to NZTA?
I made my submission first.
Sorry, yes, sorry, take it all back.
I'm not concerned with politics.
Take it all back.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
not concerned with politics, but I'm not, that's not my point of my submission. Is that we are in Jellicoe Street. There is a 70k zone, which is immediately preceded by 3 increasingly busy streets, Weld Street, Hester Street and Burgundy Drive. And we're not looking at the number of the speed limit. My submission today or talk today is around the placement of it, because 15 years ago it was outside the current urban boundary, and the council has taken the proposal was to put the sign back there, but of course it's been held up with the number to go on the sign. So what we're doing, so as we head out of town, and I live in that area and have for 20 years, so what I wanted to say is I know it's been postponed, but in fact it was actually postponed because it was sent back for the council to do more work in September. So if you go back to September 2021 minutes, and I have an extract here, just for the benefit of you have it.
Was it 21 or 23?
23. So the review process started in November 2022. It's been going for 18 months. There's been a political football, we know that, but I'm trying to put that aside because what I'm concerned about is we have throughout this period in the last 2 financial years had funding available for low-cost safety improvements. And I am so my question is, I've got 2 questions. Will we lose that funding that's been held over for CapEx if we don't implement a speed limit? And if we are going to lose it, is there anything we can do to accelerate get decisions for the use of that funding? And I'm not saying implement the speed review. I know that that's in place, but from a sheerly personal perspective, I could say, I know, and I've got to articulate, if we could simply move that 50k speed sign outside the entrance to Peno Grove, if we could simply move it back by the amount recommended by council in its proposal.
Was that to pass Esther? Not
past
Esther, Ferry, yeah.
Yeah. If we could simply say there were some ideas that had strong consensus in the plan that, I mean, yeah, sure, Waka Kotahi did suggest making it 40 k's from the square to a new sign placement and then changing it to 60. I understand that that's held up and I understand the reasons for it. But if we've got 356,000 CapEx hanging around for 2 years, let's use that money if it is still, it's a question, if it's still available, to do those things that were general consensus about. So I'm saying, could we please move the current 50K sign, the stated amount that was in the council's proposal, to leave it at 50, avoid the 40-50 debate. And that will also have the effect on the reverse of that sign coming into town. You will not have a legal speed limit of 70K in an urban zone. Because there has been massive development in that area.
And still going on.
And we could actually go a lot further with it, but if we could just have that. And then the second thing, so let's be honest, it's a noise and an amenity issue. We've now probably got a lot more permanent residents in that area. We also now have a trucking operation that wasn't there 15 years ago. And we need to do something in the bigger picture, but in the immediate picture, I would say, could we move the sign, keep the number the same? And number two, could we seriously consider yellow no parking signs outside my property, which is 92 Jellicoe Street, on both sides of the road? So that would mean that you could not park on the road between Esther Street, heading out of town, Esther Street and Burgundy Drive. There's 30 metres max. If that could be painted with yellow no parking, that avoids the horrific situation of, the submissions on the speed review will say how dangerous it is to get in and out of there with the heavy traffic. So I don't need to justify the reason for it, but that might be a minor safety improvement, but actually.
Sorry, how dangerous is it in that Burgundy Drive, you say?
Oh, the road narrows, there's no curb on one side, and you have.
I'm just trying to get a picture of, because I don't live right
Yeah,
there.
sure.
So you're talking about getting in and out of Burgundy driveway?
What I'm saying is that section of road, it's Esther Street.
Yeah,
And Weld Street, there is one house and one driveway.
yeah.
But on the other side, you've got, listen, if you,
Probably need to go and have a look at it, do I?
yeah, and the council officers will be aware, because a lot of submissions were made around the same.
It's very unsafe to have cars parked there with all the activity going on. That was that.
And not only
And
that,
I'm personally affected because it's outside my own property, but
but Esther's there and then Burgundy Drive is now there and sometimes they have just as much traffic as each other, if not more.
you can imagine what it's like when you're trying to drive into Burgundy Drive and, or worse, in my situation, you're driving home at say between 3 and 5 and it's very busy. You have to pull and make a right turn at the point where people behind you have seen the 70K sign.
Oh, yes.
So they've started to accelerate, even though I've only got a microsecond to indicate a turn because of the other streets. And then you've got a truck who hasn't yet put the brakes on because they're still allowed to go.
70.
Yeah. In fact, it might even be higher than 70, I'm not sure. Anyway, so the key thing is those two questions. And if the money is available, there was a lot of things that there was consensus, quite good consensus about in that speed review that you could make improvements for without getting into this politics of the 40-60, 50-70 thing. And there was.
Yeah, no, I remember exactly that and about the road sign being looked at going past Ferry Road. So that was where the speed was.
Well, the ironic thing is that 50 metres on where you'd like it placed, you turn into, it becomes 70 Ks and then you turn around Ferry Road.
Yeah.
And it goes back to 50 Ks. And it's just an anomaly.
Yeah.
But I've watched, and the other thing I would love, so that's, I'll give you a copy of this, but those are the things I'd like community board to consider making a request to council or a submission to council about.
Is there any prescription around what this money is able, it says low cost?
Yes, council officers know what it can be used for, and I'm asking, can it be used for this?
Right.
They will know. I'm just raising the issue that they give it some consideration.
Okay.
And I could do it the same. I could, the Featherston and Greytown people could, each town has these little things that they can do with their money.
That are just small savings.
And
but
failing
it's
that,
for life, yeah.
Failing that, just let us know if the money's not available.
Sorry,
The money may not be available.
no, that's right. You might lose it.
Or maybe earmarked for something else.
The other thing, Louise, is you're also suggesting to move the sign on the other side of the road, which is the 50k reduction.
Yeah.
Moving that back to the same location.
Yes, so move literally, Dick, I'll do it myself, I'll dig the whole over.
Because the other thing about the 50k zone, it's parked behind the tree. Unavailable as we see.
Is it?
Okay, so that's the
Hello.
first leg. The second leg of it is, council were given in that same decision in September last year, council gave themselves an action item to consult on a Martinborough area speed zone. And so that was an idea that I raised with the community board some time ago. And again, without looking at what that speed zone should be, but looking at the unique nature of the way our town's configured with the wineries and around the square. So the council has actually decided that they would consult on this. So I'm now coming back to say, as part of your submission on the community long-term plan, let's seek funding, and I don't know whether it's in 5 years or in 10 years, for a spatial plan for Martinborough.
That's already, that is already in
Part of your
the,
submission.
no, it's part of the master plan. So the master plan actually was for the district, but it was just that Featherstone's was being worked on
Yes,
as the first spatial plan. But there had already been out and it actually went out to the communities and everything, like
Yeah.
just a rough idea of what each of the towns and what they would look at.
yes.
So it's just kind of all staged.
No, so
But it has been,
what I want to pick up is no point consulting on an area speed zone change now. Let's roll it into when you do the spatial plan.
do you want to wait that long?
I think you need to, because roading and
I mean, when you're talking about just the area that you're talking about, I think that's actually something that could probably be moved forward a lot faster than waiting for a few more years
I know that.
prior to get, you know, when we know that there's actually a safety hazard in an area, we can actually, you know, and I'll definitely go out and have a look, but although I know from turning into Ferry Road exactly what you mean.
so, I mean, what I'm saying, yeah, so I'll leave that in your hands, but I think rather than consult separately on it, roll it into a bigger question. And that also links into all the green spaces, because green spaces and how people move are things that get dealt with in the master plans. And we've heard a submission today that people have looked for available public land. Well, I haven't researched it, but I rather suspect that there are some conditions on the use of the land that they're proposing to put the artificial turf on. And rather than go from, you know, do just look at the square, just look at Considine Park, just look at the golf club, just look at the rugby soccer grounds, when Featherstone's done, you're not going to get a master plan for Martinborough or Greytown unless there's funding. Now, that may not be for 10 or 15 years, but start asking for that grand plan now.
Yep. That had already been built in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So, and then the final wee thing, in terms of, is I don't think people appreciate quite what the traffic count is on that bypass. Coming in from, because we know there's been huge lifestyle development south of Martinborough. That traffic is hooning in between 8 and 10 o'clock and 2 and 5 o'clock. And I mean hooning. All right, because you're coming up a long straight road or you're coming in between towns and there's people with places to go. And that really does need to be looked at long term because it's not what the village was about.
So what was that location again?
Essentially, you've got a heavy traffic bypass.
Yeah.
And the traffic volumes there, I'm suggesting that you want to pencil in some monitoring of traffic volumes.
Around the bypass.
On that bypass that would essentially go.
Princess Dublin.
Yeah. Princess, Dublin, Jellicoe. Because that, you know, you look at the Lahinga Bridge, listen, if that goes down in an emergency,
Oh, don't say
I'll put money on the bridge will not be built there. It will be built where they wanted to build it 60 years ago, which was a bypass Martinborough. The land is already available.
Sorry, we're on another topic now.
We are. I'm just warning people who are new that in fact, the bridge, you've gone on today, we've got to be doing something about the bridge. You've got to think one step up, get the funding in place to take the bigger picture, because if that bridge went down and it was part of a 20-year plan to rebuild it, don't be certain it would be built in the same place.
I had a bridge built way faster than 20 years.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, no, I know what you mean.
sometimes we rush to a solution without trying to understand the
But
problem.
on the other hand, these plans take so long to be developed and consulted on, and, and the whole world's changed by the time you have a plan too.
True,
Yes.
but I never give up hope.
Oh,
That's awesome.
So I do have copies if that's all a bit
Please.
helpful.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
And, I do feel a bit selfish coming along and asking for my little problem to solve, but if the money's there, maybe there is an answer. The paper has to go to council at that extent.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. But you are, I'm not.
Thank you so much, Louise. Thank you so much for bringing that information, and obviously where you are gives you a specific insight into those things, like the traffic movement. I mean, we know and are constantly told about, and I've seen with my own eyes what it's like with that heavy traffic bypass going past the school, and yeah. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. So thank you for bringing this to us today. There's a number of actions we can talk about.
Thank you.
Just a question. You talk about consideration of putting it past Ferry. What about Campbell, which is Cottage Grove entrance?
I was trying to find the area of most common consensus.
Okay.
So I might have a view about that, but I think there couldn't be really very much debate about moving the sign to where I'm suggesting it, because that's where it was 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yes, so moving it back.
A lot of development. I wouldn't be surprised if that traffic movement's 15 to 20,000 weekday.
There was a counter on the road in Jellicoe Street,
but
wasn't there, not that long ago?
No, there was, but unfortunately it was taken on, I think, one day, which happened to be a Thursday, when there happened to be the school holiday. When there happened to be the school holidays, and there happened to be a weather bomb passing through Martinborough.
So there's no one, right, yeah.
And that was about 12,000.
So to clarify, you're saying they put a traffic counter on the road for
Oh,
one day?
Well, ask the officers, they will know, they'll confirm. Like 2 days.
Right.
Confirm that, Stephen?
I only got the figures for 1 day. Yes, I was given, so I did an official information request.
Where are the pedants among us?
Yeah.
Surely somebody of you're the one.
So I did an OIA, and because I'd seen the traffic count go down, so that's how I knew there was a weather bomb, and I knew it was after Easter during the school holidays, not a
Best time.
for
No.
Okay.
or heavy usage.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if anyone turns around and says, well, actually the traffic volumes are not that high to justify this,
That's why.
you need to come back and do.
Oh.
And pedestrian counting, because they fair number across that road. And my own submission will tell you about the accidents that I've observed on either side, literally crossing the road with a drunk or not seeing the light. But there would be other towns. I mean, there will be other areas where you could usefully spend a small amount of money if it was available, and it will not be the ratepayers' money.
No, that's great. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much, Louise, for your submission.
I'll stay in case there's any discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't look like Sarah is turning up. So just pull her aside for the time being. Did she send you any documentation? No, okay.
So was there more public participation motive?
Well, Sarah Moynihan was here for Payne Farm, the adjacent properties. She was going to come and she came and saw us on Saturday,
Right.
but there was obviously a mix-up in communication because she hasn't arrived. Are there any actions arising from the public participation?
Stephen, are you able to shed any light with regards to the, so is the speed zoning that was being, that with regards to Martinborough, that's also been put on hold, is that correct? So that we don't have a time frame at the moment, or roughly, on when we will be looking at putting that consultation out? Just, I mean, we could still put the consultation out so that way we know what the appetite is. I guess, I don't know, what do you think?
So through you, Chair, and good evening, everyone. And thank you for the presentation. So the speed review, the interim speed management plan has, as you know, been through consultation and through the public hearings process and deliberations, and then has been the subject of a resolution. So the interim speed management plan is finished, and we were sort of just about to submit it to the Director of Land Transport when the government changed. And then they've told us we expect to be making some major policy changes to the land transport rules, and that may influence the decisions that you seek to make in the interim speed management plan. And so many councils across New Zealand, including Custom and ourselves, have paused that process. And we're waiting for the government to make decisions on important things like, you know, what will be the speed limits on state highways and so forth, so that, as well as giving us guidance on our own speeds, so that we can then just make sure that what's in the document that we've prepared, what's still able to be done and what isn't. Now, so it's a bit of a mess, and it's very frustrating for everyone involved. But I think the question that Louise is asking is where there is something in the speed management, interim speed management plan that everybody agrees with. And certainly one of the points that we've made, the extension of the 50 kilometres zone, that's something that no one has got a problem with. Everyone agreed that is a good idea. The question Louise was asking is, well, can we do that? You know,
in isolation.
Do we need to wait for the interim speed management plan to be adopted, or can we just pick that thing out and do it with, I think you were referring to low cost, low risk funding, or any other funding that we've got available. Now, I can go back to the team, including the Castleton team, and just get a read on whether that's possible or not for unintentious important issues like that. We pull them out and do them now, not wait. So that was what I think. I don't want to mischaracterise what you.
Not so that, only if the funds.
If the funding's there,
If the funding's there.
So I can go back and do that.
I want to lose the funding.
Yeah, no, the low cost, low risk funding, we don't lose it. It comes up each budget, and we've made an application for it again this land transport plan round. So
We don't want it to happen. We'll have to talk to them to see if they can, well, we won't let you use it for these initiatives.
yeah, no, look, I wouldn't get too caught up on funding, because, you know, if the funding would be derived from the road services work program, the big question that we're trying to check with my team is whether we can pull things out of the interim speed management plan and implement them now. And so I promise I'll take that back and get an answer to that, and I'll let the chair know.
Oh, fantastic. So that would be
Do you have any
great.
time frame you think?
Oh, it shouldn't take me long, Chair. You know, within a week.
Within a week. Okay, very good.
Perfect.
That's right. Okay, very good. Thank you for that.
Thanks, so.
Mel, do you have a question? You had your hand up, but I think.
I did. So I did just have a question. If there was any way that we could pull out any of that traffic volume data, like for regarding the traffic volume takes that were made in 2023 around Princess, Dublin, and Jellicoe.
It was just the corner of Dublin. There's the corner of Dublin and Jellicoe, and was the only one done in the district lines.
Yeah.
So that's only going to catch people going one way as well.
And the time before, no, both ways, I think. And the last time any other volume counts were done in the district were turn of the century.
What's
Oh, okay, two of us, that's all right.
Yeah.
We're not talking
Okay.
1900, we're talking
So,
about.
so just a question, Stephen, can you dig into the,
I can find those,
I'll send it to you.
yeah, I can find it if Louise sends it to me. And there are other ways of calculating the average traffic usage on our roads. We do have that data, and I could provide, why don't I sort of have a look at that information, but also what you're interested in is how heavily used is the bypass and the roads leading to the bypass.
You'll be sorry for this information here disclosed.
Well, no, I think we've got average counts. I'm sure.
I saw there must be some.
But when we were doing the Dublin Street, when we were being requested to repair Dublin Street, I had, it might not, it's not measured for the road, but I had an idea of the average.
I'll be right.
I might be able to dig that out as well.
Okay, thank you, that would be good.
Would it be measured, just be opinion?
I don't know. I thought you might ask that. But I know the roading team have got a way of knowing what the average use is. I don't know how they do it.
Might have
Let me
yeah, Mel, if you
do a bit of research.
Okay.
might have to go over there.
Okay.
So, maybe get some good results there. Thank you very much. I'll look
Thank
forward to that information, Stephen. Thanks very much. So now we move on to the chair report. Before I do, is there any other discussion we want to take? You right, Mel?
Just moving 6 to be able to plug in my computer.
Somebody's running out of battery.
Sorry about all of that. I can't figure myself out.
Right.
No. Have I got my hand up or anything?
No,
Okay, great. Thanks.
chair report. Yes, it's great.
That was yours.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies, everybody.
Okay, now shuffle about seats.
I like the view better from here.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Can I have a mover to receive the chair's report, please?
I'll move that.
And all those in favour? Can you have a second, sorry?
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah.
All those in favour, raise your hand. Yeah, thank you.
I.
Thank you, thank you. Do you want to speak to the report? I'll just talk to a couple of things about it. First item we had was our feedback from our discussions with the CEO. As I think I've expressed to you, Janice, the feedback we had was extremely positive, so we thank you for that. And an action coming out of that from a strategy meeting was that Janice has got an amendment to look at the agreement, memorandum of agreement, to look at the action items that are sitting on there. So I didn't gain anything from that, Janice, as to how long that was going to take. Do you have any guesstimate ideas?
With the workload we've got at the moment, it won't be immediate.
No, I didn't expect it.
But definitely, I hope to get something back by the next meeting.
So by the next meeting, that's a fair enough task. That's good. So that we had a very positive meeting. I won't go into the details of it, but it was very good. We had a number of issues to raise.
sorry, on that topic, I missed the meeting. Is there any documentation of it that I can?
Not officially, no. No, what was going to happen was amendment was going to be raised by Pip into the next
At the
meeting.
strategy
meeting.
yesterday, and I did that, and so the memorandum of agreement between chair,
Yes.
yeah, the chair and the interim CEO that was signed last year, with information was going to come back in December, but of course Janice only just started as the CEO, and taken up her role, and so it was just to make sure that the list of things that was going to be done we get that information back to this table, to the community board, and so that's what I asked for, and
What that meeting, so that's specifically with regards to Payne Farm.
yes, and that was that, so that,
Yeah,
that was,
it's that topic.
and that was what was discussed with the community board and with the, and with Janice.
And we made it clear with Janice, that was the main focus of our reason for meeting, but we had other issues.
Yeah, oh, so many.
Went through.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll leave that one. The second one is discuss the Payne Farm ongoing funding issues. And I wonder if we want to continue that discussion in light of what we've just heard, or do we want to have any discussion that relates to the financial report that's in this document?
I think maybe because Payne Farm is in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So perhaps we'll talk about it when we come to the
Come to Payne.
information.
So moving on, the community wellbeing.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mel.
Storm, sorry, just, I think, is this the right space to talk about what the people came to us about at our, Meet the Community Board,
We'll do that in the Payne Farm.
meeting around
As they
Payne
haven't-
Farm?
As they haven't come to this meeting, which I asked them to do, and the reasons are for that, I'm not sure whether we should discuss, because we don't have any official writing on what they were going to present to us.
Oh,
We have an
okay, no,
idea.
that's not what I was meaning. No, the fact that South Wairarapa District Council has requested in the Wairarapa Combined District Plan for the entire Payne Farm, including the house and including the cottage, for it all to be changed in its designation to waste.
And that's why we needed that input. Do we have the scope to discuss that or not?
It hasn't been brought to our attention specifically, has it?
No, however, there is
But on
information.
Saturday.
On Saturday?
So that was, yeah, so that there was a concern that was brought up on Saturday, the Meet the Community Board.
I see.
And
They're gonna come and-
however, and and those individuals were going to come and speak. However, in the meantime, there is information here that Melanie has sent out to everybody in the community board.
Yep.
Yeah, so you'll have it in your email.
Specifically on that topic.
Yes, yeah.
So when was that? Sorry, when was it?
So just to save us all, Mel, do you want to give us a brief summary of that document? Is that possible?
Oh, okay. Sorry, that I thought that was my brief summary. So last year in June of 2023, there is a letter that went from the interim chief executive officer directly to, no, and I don't even think it's a letter, it might be a cover letter to the information that they were sending. Anyway, the letter states that they are asking
Who
for
was it
the
being sent to, Mel?
It was being
Wairarapa
received-
Combined District Plan.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
And you can locate all the papers under the Wairarapa Combined District Plan. And the place to look is designations. And what they've said about Payne Farm is that they don't need to consult on it because they own it. And they have asked for the designation in the Combined District Plan to be changed from it being a farm to it being waste, the entire place. Now, what does that do to land value?
It's a shocking thing.
So at the moment, there's a little yellow strip that shows the where the transfer station is, and we get that in our reports quite regularly, just showing that little bit. This is the transfer station. This is what we use now. It is the entire giant square of the Payne Farm that they are wanting ring fenced and changed in designation to waste.
Who was requesting?
This is in South
So-
Wairarapa District Council's submission to the Wairarapa Combined District Plan. This never came to our table, ever. Ever. This is
Not since you've been there. My understanding is that this is actually back in the 2000s as part of the original when it was first being looked at. that this was something, so way before any of our time.
Yeah.
So.
It's
From
so
what
it's
I
completely
understand-
irrelevant to
No,
today.
which is, if you just let me finish.
Sorry.
So back in the early 2000s, and as we know, everything, the whole world has changed since then. So everything has changed. So what was signed off at that time should have still, it needed to be looked at again. It's exactly the same way that something goes through council and then the current council is able to relook at it and to move it forward as to how the scope at the time looks. Now, that's what the concern is. The concern is that something from the early 2000s or whenever, but prior to the first wastewater treatment plant going on there, that a decision was made that when the combined district plan, that it could maybe be looked at. It never made its way back to this table, or it never actually came forward again. And Melanie, I honestly can say, as a councillor, I never saw this either. So I've had Aidan confirm he never saw it either. So we can say that. So it's very interesting to actually see what it's looking like now. It's a real worry.
So as the governors of or whatever we're now called, I don't care anymore what they call us, but as the kaitiaki of Payne Farm,
What can we do to stop
what
this?
do we do to stop this is my question. Janice,
Okay.
is there an action to be made from this that says, look, can we look into this and stop it? Because what?
It's massive.
The farm is for the children of people of Martinborough, whatever, but we all know the beneficiaries are the children of Martinborough. And so this grab for the entire everything, the house, the homestead, the cottage, the farm, everything to be turned into a dump site for the South Wairarapa District Council is not going to happen.
So
How can we stop it? For George Payne's treasured property to be used as a rubbish dump is an absolute travesty, I think.
So I've got the picture here. So the existing designation shown in yellow is the current wastewater. Proposed designation shown in red, which is what Melanie is talking about.
And you'll see it covers everything, the house, the homestead, the cottage.
Yes, the house, the homestead, yes, the transfer station.
The first question,
Covering
the first I would raise is who had the jurisdiction to make such a claim?
Well, this was sent by Paul.
I understand who was sent.
Yeah, on the 30th of June, 2023.
What authority did they have?
To Ali Cederman from Bothamuskal.
Okay, so I think this question Storm's asking is if it didn't go to the governance table, who authorised Paul to send that submission to the Wairarapa Combined District Plan with no oversight from South Wairarapa District Council governance?
So is that a fair question we can ask?
I would think so.
I'd like that done too.
So I think it's imperative that we ask that question.
Does anybody from the group over there have a commentary to make or not?
So, as you're aware, the Payne Farm estate is a multi-use property. We've got consents operating to do several different things on the property. One of them is discharging the treatment of wastewater, and one of them is the housing of the waste, the transfer station. Now, obviously those consents must operate in a way that allows us to do that. The designations, I would have to check if and why a designation had been made that relates to wastewater or waste for the whole property. I wasn't aware of that, and I would need to check back why a designation would need to be made over the entire property. I can understand that a designation would need to be made over the areas of the property where those activities are happening, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in order for them to operate and be designated properly, But why it might need to be done over the whole property that's a good question, and I'll, we'll get an answer for you on that.
So we're going to raise
So-
that as a question.
So one of my concerns is that consideration of alternative sites, routes, whatever, and methods. It says the Martinborough Paint Farm and Featherston wastewater land disposal sites are not yet in use, but meet the requirements of section 171B of the Resource Management Act 1991 as point 1, both sites are owned by South Wairarapa District Council. And point 2, the effects will be managed through consents granted by Greater Wellington Regional Council, and as explained in section 4.4 of the attached report, the use of these sites will be permitted under the district plan. So
They're already permitted activities that we have
Yes.
consents
for
through.
parts of that,
Yeah, for parts.
but not,
Not the whole.
not for the whole farm.
And I'm hearing you really clearly on what
Yeah.
your question is.
Thank you.
And that's a concern that like we know, we have some incredibly intelligent people within our communities that pick up some of the things that sometimes we don't even realise are out there when they go and they do their official information acts, and when they bring it to our attention, we have no recourse except to be able to come back and ask for those answers. So
Okay, so
I appreciate you looking into that. Thank you.
we're going to raise a question to that, and whose authority that was given. So is there any further debate on that?
Sorry, my other question was, how do we
Can
stop
it be
it?
stopped?
Well,
How
Kim,
do we stop that? How do we get them to put in a different picture showing only the proportion agreed by the Martinborough Community Board as for waste to land? Because we never said that we would put tenants into a home that got covered in waste.
You just need to clarify, this isn't about sludge, this is about disposal to land.
This is wastewater.
wastewater.
No,
Yeah.
sorry, no.
Oh, hang on.
Same as with
Sorry.
riding club.
No, so hang on, I'll let Melanie.
Sorry, if Pip, if you could show Janice that picture and what it is, just that first basic picture, because that's what I'm talking about. And the designation is they have asked for it all to be termed waste. So they can dispose of landfill, they can dispose of wastewater, they can dispose of anything that they consider trash. And
Okay,
that is the beloved farm and homestead given for the benefits of the people of Martinborough. Kia ora.
Sorry, Mel, Pip, you doing something?
Yeah, I'm just pulling it back up to
Okay,
get the information for Janet. I think,
You ever seen me the black town?
I just worry, for example, if we did decide that maybe, all the land out there got built up. We know there's been a lot of subdivisions out there, and they did need a children's playground to be placed on part of the Payne farm. All of these issues, and I guess the monies that have not been coming, I'm getting highly concerned around the belief that the people of Martinborough aren't being taken into consideration with Payne Farm. Nothing should happen on Payne Farm without the Martinborough community being aware.
well, that is the legal definition.
So who instructed Boffa Miskell to
so,
report on that and write a report on it?
No,
so the report is here. I'm just trying to pull it back up again. Sorry.
Boffa Miskell are a consultant, somebody would have instructed
Yeah,
them.
but that's what we've asked for, that information, please.
Don't shut me down.
No, I'm not. I'm literally saying,
yep,
I'm
okay.
agreeing with you. I'm saying that's what we've asked for.
Excellent.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
No.
The question I have is, the Moynihan presentation was going to cover this issue as well. Is it possible to get their submission and add it to any question? As they haven't made it?
No, I don't think so. They've missed out on the ability to participate in public participation. However, as the chosen advocates for our community, by our community, they brought it to us, and
Yep.
I'm bringing it to the table. So, because the other thing, what they were all concerned about was about how I guess the wind would carry it, where it would go to, the high nitrates, they had really in-depth, and particularly they have wells located near where this designation change is being asked for. And, was there 8 of them, 10 of them that came? Storm, and only one of them had received a letter because they were the only ones considered adjacent?
Yeah, and 2 people received the letter, but only one of the people that came to us
had received it, yeah. That's what it was. Thank you, Storm.
So have they made any submissions to the?
No, they made a submission to the district council plan.
Yes, but I know that they were submitting to us, or
No, they haven't. That's
They
what they're
haven't.
going to do tonight.
but they have made submissions to the people who sent them a letter, the district.
They've made a submission to the district plan.
Yeah.
The district, combined district.
Right.
So, but they haven't done anything to the local.
Public document.
Sorry, my voice is one of us. Okay.
This was the letter, so I'm just trying to forward it, but it's been me forward.
Over the public document. Don't search for it.
Yeah.
So what was, so
For me, so I'm just trying to forward it, but I can't. It's not letting me.
do you know what response they got to their submissions?
They haven't got anything.
They've got anything?
No, not yet.
How long, what's the time frame, do you know?
I don't know. It's the same as our submission. I haven't heard anything from ours either.
That's true.
So do we have a confirmation of when we hear back from, after doing submissions to the combined district plan? When the,
It looks like it's closed, we're still due there.
so, but people who have made submissions, when do they hear back?
The submissions closed just on cusp of the Christmas break, I believe.
Yeah.
So given that we're only at the beginning of February, I think it will be a while yet, while we work our way through, because it is the combined district plan, so.
Yeah. Accept that.
The website says March 2024 summarising submissions.
I think, isn't there then another round of submissions on the back of that?
Hearings held on submissions and decisions released. Appeals to the Environment Court 24-25.
Now, do you need any adjustment to what we're going to word as a question to the executive? Janice?
I think we just need to go and talk to the team.
Okay.
Neither Stefan nor I can answer your questions with the combined district plan process.
There's authority, there's the.
Yeah, we'll tidy that up a bit, but yeah, okay. So, having left that question to be posed, do we have anything else we want to add to it?
Well, can you read out what it says?
We're just going to go through and tweak that a bit before we finish off tonight.
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
If you can just, it just needs a bit more tweak. That's a bit basic. It just needs a bit of expansion
Okay,
on the submission and what was done. So we need to bring in that submission.
okay.
Okay. We'll do that in a second, unless you want to take time to have a break now, we'll do it now, but it's going to slow us down a wee bit if you want.
Oh, I'm now on now.
You're now on power, are you? So, yeah,
No, that's fine.
look, the other
Sorry,
thing. Sorry.
Through you, Mr. Chair. There was just one other question that I had, and it's actually from our minutes that have been approved now from our last meeting. But that was about a $10,000 amount that had gone out of Pain Farm that was going to advise us this meeting where that money had gone.
Yeah, was that the consultancy fee? I'm looking at the complete records now. I just wondered if that was the number.
Yeah, 10.
Maintenance.
Because the other thing I had in the discussion on Pain Farm was to talk about the insurance payout. But now having seen the financials, there was a sum which I assume is sitting in an account.
Action 501, it was 10,000 went out.
So there's an insurance payment, which I don't think has been utilised yet, but it is sitting in the account. $30,000. So that answers that.
Sorry, did you say that answers the 10,000?
No, it doesn't answer the 10,000. I'm just surmising from the accounts that I'm seeing now that there's a 10,000 that was paid to consultants.
For,
The,
I don't know, it just said paid to consultants.
That was my question too.
so through you, Chair, the text that I have from finance is open tender for Payne Estate farmland. But I'm not sure exactly what that's meant by.
So Stephen, was that the option A taken or option B eventually? Was it the option B?
So it was exactly $10,000 for
Something that didn't work.
to put out the tender.
It-
It seems to be
$10,000 fee for consultants.
I'm on the wrong job.
Incredibly round figure.
Isn't it a very round
Does
figure?
that ring a bell in somebody's head? Doesn't mine.
No, we often get around.
Do you?
no, and if we can please just
You
ensure that
You get figures like
We'll
that.
look at that when we come to the pain
When
farm.
we come to the accounts, we'll look at that.
well, that was why I wanted to just bring it up, is because it's not there. It's only in the minutes as action 501. Yeah. So that, and what we were asking for. Because it actually says it went out from the Payne farm under repairs and maintenance.
That last,
For repairs and maintenance, so it was taken for repairs and maintenance, and that we wanted to know what that was for. Okay, so we should know that tonight. Okay.
So we're saying in the last quarter, we got the figures in our last meeting was the previous quarter. Are they not?
What else? We got some we didn't get out
It
of.
was another 10,000 figure, and in that case, it was for repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, so there was
We
$10,000.
$10,000, but it has no detail around it.
Yeah, it just said repairs and maintenance, $10,000, and we asked what it's actually
That's right.
went towards. So that's the question.
Yes.
It's on the previous minutes. that we
Previous
just
one.
wanted to know this time, so.
And now we've got another $10,000 figure. That's
No.
There's only one $10,000 figure.
Might be the same one.
But
It's
might
the same.
the $10,000, this figure goes to consultants.
Yeah.
The other $10,000 may have been absorbed.
actuals December. So we had those figures last time. Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Totally confused.
No, we didn't have it.
Actuals to the end.
Yeah, no, we didn't have them at that time
So how did we know about the $10,000?
because it was on the previous figure.
Previous figure, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're two different $10,000
It's
sums.
the same one that's been carried across. I'm pretty sure. Is that what you're saying, Janice? It's the same one that's been carried across.
Well, I don't know, because this one definitely says for consultants. The
As
other one was
ever,
repairs and maintenance.
Financial figures for the paying
Okay.
are
Have a look.
totally impenetrable.
We just have to get there, that's all.
Yeah, so we leave that, we'll just talk that when we do the review of the income.
So that way we can look at Payne Farm, yeah, all at once.
Impenetrable.
Okay, so we move on to the topic 3, which is the Community Wellbeing Fund. I think we have an action to just confirm that. And we have to make recommendations as to who will be appointed as the representative with an alternate.
I'd like to nominate Angela.
She's going to be the alternate. I'll nominate her for the alternate. She's doing enough of the results.
She's going to be the alternate.
Yeah, I was going to step in to do the main one.
Okay, perfect. Well, okay, well,
Just that Angela's also doing the resilience one, which is quite a big workload of tasks.
So this is to be on the committee that looks at the,
The wellbeing.
well-being, yeah.
that looks at applications. for grants.
Yeah.
We've got to that point now, haven't we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so well, the committee's now there, now we're just
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
things on it.
Yeah.
Chair, if you resolve to accept
Sorry, yes,
yeah, then Nikki can talk to it. if
Yeah.
needed to.
so just need to receive the, this is on the chair's report, doesn't have to receive it, do it?
Oh, sorry, it's got
The
there.
chair's report. So we just need to confirm who we're going to nominate and for the main position in the alternate.
Well, through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make
Hang
a,
on.
sorry.
This is
One at a time.
the information is coming up for the Community Wellbeing Fund, so it's actually there as another part of the agenda, so rather than
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
we
all
can
right.
make the topic more if you like,
Okay.
the chair.
The other one was, the next topic was the pedestrian crossings.
Mhm.
Got Stephen here to help us out with that. Stephen, can you just confirm that they're actually legal?
that the pedestrian crossings are legal.
with the flashing lights?
Temporary lights, I mean.
Because that flashing light would serve, in my opinion, as being a militia beacon, and it ain't.
The-
They have some local rule to override that.
Well, the advice of the team, including the engineering team, was that they are legal, that they're able to be used as a temporary measure on a pedestrian.
So it's described as a temporary measure.
Yeah, they've always been in as a mitigated
they
temporary
were.
measure.
You understood they would be.
Yeah, until we put the lights in place, they were just there to draw attention to the pedestrian crossing.
And my question was around whether it operated as a militia beacon, in which case it wouldn't comply, even in a temporary measure.
What's a militia beacon?
Militia beacon is a round globe, yellow,
Globe.
it's on top of the pedestrian crossing light pole,
Standard thing.
so it's a standard issue. The other option is that is a militia disc, which we have, which is the fluorescent yellow orange. And
You've got the disc, which is already there, then that light is an additional measure that we've put there temporarily until the full lights are installed.
do we have an update on when they would be installed?
So the next step is to issue a tender, which would then assign our contractor. And at that point, we would order the lights in time for the work to start in the next financial year as agreed.
So that's,
And that tender will be done in, I would say, the middle of March. And then that gives you plenty of time to order the lights and get the work started in the next financial year. That hasn't changed, that's as I've been outlining for some time.
okay, so we don't have any issues with light supply?
Well, no other issues other than the ones that have been identified, which is the long lead in time to procure the units that we want.
And is that going to give us enough time? Because it was, I mean, our concern was the fact that it was taking 6 to 8 months to get them in, so you've already ordered them or? No,
But we will order them once we've assigned the contractor, and yes, it will give us enough time.
awesome. So would that be fair to say then that we would be looking at getting the permanent resolution done in 2024?
Yes, the work is to be programmed in the next financial year, so that's from.
Yeah, not but-
July.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want it to be the 30th of June, 2025.
We're aware of the urgency of it, so, you know, we'll get the tender out, assign the contractor, purchase the lights, then we'll be ready to go in the new.
Is the scope of this project for the 3 most dangerous crossings or for the full 10?
So I think we've been over that, Chair. Do you want to go back into that discussion?
Well, my understanding is that it's only for the 3 initially.
So the resolution of council is that this project to upgrade the pedestrian crossings in Martinborough is to be done as a one job. We're not going to do, you know, 3 and then some more and some more. And that's already been the subject of some fairly robust discussion at council and resolve, Chair.
That doesn't seem to take into account the temporary measure you've just done. You've only applied the temporary measure to the 3 critical.
Through the chair, that was because they were identified and the report stated they were a health and safety hazard.
Yeah.
So that's why they were dealt with in the mitigations.
Yeah.
We agreed with council that the project will do all 10. When it kicks off, it will do all 10.
Because the other comment I make is that the critical time for those lights is through the winter. Running into time where we'll probably not get them done.
Yeah, because it'll be out in July.
It'll be in July. July's especially midwinter. So we're missing a window of opportunity. I guess you're not going to comment any further on that one. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realise you were asking me a question.
I am. I'm asking is midwinter.
What's the question you're asking?
Well, the question is, if the plan you're talking about now is suggesting that it could happen sometime after July, which will be after winter, which is the critical time for when this.
The council has determined through resolution that the work will be in the next financial year.
Yeah.
So I'm following the instructions of elected members to do that.
Do we have any estimation of how long the project will take?
No, we'll know more about that once we've put a contractor in place.
Obviously, yeah, okay. Cool, thank you.
So have you got a note on what the program is for?
Yep.
for that? Okay. Right, so moving on to the next one is the question we have is for ward councillors on the Martinborough Community Board to give us updates every meeting on their activities in council. As you're the only member to be here present. And this was going to be the starting point of doing those. It doesn't have to be an extensive, long-winded, it's just a quick comment telling us what you're doing, as would be Kay, as would be Aidan, to just give us an update of what's happening in the community on behalf of Martinborough and not so much the whole council.
Well, it's a bit difficult to do that because we look at it as the district, so but things that have been going on, so one of the things is with regards to Māori Standing Committee, which is one of the committees that I sit on. We actually had someone from North, what was it called? A far north solar farm, who came to speak. And it was really interesting because I guess the information that they give, where it looks like there's a lot of jobs that are going to be there and things like that, so within the community, but actually they're talking about the whole, the whole business. So they're talking about the work that goes on in the north and everywhere else they have those solar farms. So it's not necessarily meaning 10,000 jobs coming directly here to our community, which is one of the things that I found quite interesting. But so the amount of shade that it's actually, because they are built up quite high, so it's actually offering almost another part of shade for a lot of the stock that could still, it can still be used as farming, which I didn't realise. So, so for literally, you could still run your sheep on there. And instead that actually provide them with some shelter, some shade in summer, and and some shelter in winter, which I thought was quite interesting.
So this was one particular construction company that put in solar farms.
This was one solar farm,
Yeah.
solar farm group that came to speak, because they're just
Promoting what?
they'd lag behind a little bit and involving mana whenua. So
Okay.
but I'm just thinking about, because it affects our school with our, which majority of the Martinborough children will attend Kuranui, and so that's why it's still of interest, because it will be near the school. It's on the outskirts of the town, of the township, or it's not on the outskirts, it is rural, definitely more rural, but
So this-
it's very big as well.
This has been consented, this project.
No, they're still going through that whole process. But that just the engagement side was, they were still
Okay.
on. But where there's opportunities, there's got to be a lot of plantings. They're wanting to actually block it off and things like that. And we're really lucky, and you'll know with the tree planting, we have that available with Waitumōkai and with Kuhanui, with their own nurseries, with stuff that we know that grows here in the South Wairarapa that possibly wouldn't grow on the far north, and so we actually can offer those as well to them. So there's opportunities in that area in that way. And then as a councillor, but also just as a committee member of the Hauriki Marae, I was for Waitangi Day. I attended the Hauriki Marae put on an afternoon tea at Hauriki, and also as in recognition of Trevor Hawkins' QCM. So and that was really well attended. We had just under 200 people. So it was a very, very good afternoon. And very good speakers. Brian Jepson came and spoke, David Kershaw, and
Gareth Winter.
Gareth Winter, yeah, Gareth Winter. So, and it was great because Gareth Winter was able to speak about, you know, Te Tiriti, which was what a lot of people actually came for as well, was just to, you know, increase their knowledge on that. So yeah, it was a really wonderful afternoon. So yeah, that's pretty much just kind of covers what I've been up to because we've only just started having our council meetings. So
Okay,
yeah.
so we'll spread this to all three councillors, just to ask them.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. And anytime if the others, no, just give me maybe more than like 1 minute.
If there's any special presentation you want to make on it, then we're welcome to do that, but it's just giving us the key points.
It's not like I wasn't quite prepared, but that's okay. I'll be way better reporting.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Video.
So moving on, the next topic is the plan for the year. Now, Angela's not here, so we can discuss, but you've seen there's a copy of what we put in for year one. And our plan is to be a little more detailed in year two on more project specific. But I think occupying our presence is going to be Payne Farm. And so as we're waiting for feedback from the CEO, which will be at the next meeting, I suggest we don't have any timelines to worry about the plan.
No, the plan's up to you.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just work on that and come back. Okay. Are there any other comment to make on that? Because now we're going to move to the and we're moving to the financial report, so
So this,
Now is the appointments to Community Wellbeing Subcommittee.
oh,
Yeah.
is it?
yeah,
1.1.
Okay, appointments to the, sorry, I missed it out.
Sure.
So appointments to the Community Wellbeing Subcommittee. Can we have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Okay, and a seconder. So,
Maynard and then slash councillor Maynard.
okay, so in discussion, do we have any objection to what we've talked about previously?
No,
No.
so, well, I'm quite happy to make the recommendation that Storm would like to be appointed as the Martinborough Community Board's representative,
And Angela,
and Angela would love to be the alternate.
so do we need to vote on that?
yes.
Have you presumably discussed that with Angela?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Subject to her approval, we'll go ahead. She's not here to do that tonight, which she would have been. She would have-
I was just going to say, Karen, you know, are you happy with it? You know, like you whether you wanted to
Would
be
you
in
like
the
the
alternate
alternate?
or,
If
because I
Angela,
don't.
no, if Angela's keen to do it, that's fine with me. If she doesn't want to do it, I could step into the.
Okay, so we'll have a submission that as suggested, but should Angela wish not to, we can.
Yeah, okay, let's.
Have Karen. Okay, perfect.
Is that all right? You need to vote on it? We do.
Yeah, we do. So,
Okay,
so this, so the first one?
first, yep.
Yeah, we all say aye.
Say aye.
I
Okay, Gary, for the alternate.
So recommend Angela be appointed to the Martinborough Community Board's, to the Community Wellbeing Subcommittee, subject to her approval.
To approval. Failing that,
With
Um,
Karen.
um, Yep,
okay, so failing that, we get
okay,
Karen as the
yes,
Alternative to the alternative.
alternative.
okay. So it's move second that one.
Alternative to the alternative.
You can second it?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay,
Try.
And then
All in favour?
So is there any other,
Favour?
any further, all in favour? Aye, against? No,
Aye.
okay. Passed, thank you. Do we need any further discussion on that? No, we're happy? Okay, so we'll move on to the income and expenditure reports.
Okay, so we can second, so you can just.
Yes, so we need a mover.
I'll move it. I'll move that we've received it, yep.
And I'll second it if you like. Okay, do we have any questions relating to the?
If I could see them, I might be able to ask. I've got my binocular.
Hang on.
for my
Do you come over here because I can make my screen bigger. Makes it easier for you.
Of anything. It's just gonna fly out at me.
I don't know that there is anything.
I'm sure that storm would have picked something up if it was glaringly, obviously questionable.
Oh,
Grant, well,
Do you know what the September event was? That the money's still in there remaining, so committed funds, 27th of the 7th, we had the September event. But it's showing that the commitment of what the 150 hasn't been spent, so should we bring that back?
I think we should bring it back. Wasn't that one of the activities? I think,
If it hasn't been, we might as well bring that back.
because it
Yeah, as this one of the grants.
Committed funds.
It's fun.
funds.
Yes, this may well be one of the places to grants. I know places that there are grants that still waiting to fall through. So it may be one of the grant applications that are still being.
Oh, so they just haven't been able to spend it. It just says September event, that's all. So they're
Sorry.
holding
I know
something.
what it's for.
Oh,
Okay,
Well, put your
Kate,
hand up.
through you, Mr. Chair, I believe that the September event, like the December event that's in there, was the September event was the wharekaka, sort of open day, where, people can go and, you remember, Angela was doing, gosh, what was it? Was the September event, it was either the community resilience or because the December event was where we did the wharekaka and our taonga.
That was December, yeah.
That was
I
the
know.
December event. So I believe the September event is the $150 that was being paid for face painting, and there was something else from
That was the resilience one. Was that the-
community resilience. That's where I believe it's come from, and that's it's
So
worth
it's
checking. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Angela
it's worth
just needs
checking.
to-
But I think it's
So we think it might be the face painting.
so we need to get Angela, yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So she's been paid that, I think that she's.
I think it's Angela, just probably need to just check with her.
Yeah.
I think it needs to go to Angela.
Yes, but we just don't want it still.
no, it should have been uptaken. In fact, it may have done.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nikki, you're saying it hasn't been taken up?
No.
That's yeah, correct. So through you, Chair, there are some funds that are noted that are committed, but there is still either a process to be had.
Right,
Mainly related to grants. I know in September there was the fireworks grant went out, and potentially also the Martinborough Business Association Christmas decorations.
Yep. That was that the Christmas tree or just the decoration? Because the Christmas tree never went ahead, so
Yes,
it needs to be pulled.
yeah, there may well be a need to look at.
Yeah, the tree money was approved, but is that one of the ones you're saying hasn't been actually?
Correct, so from true memory, there was a grant given for some further Christmas decorations through the Martinborough Business Association. That original plan fell through and they were looking at alternatives. I'm not 100% sure what happened in the end. I have a feeling that possibly there was no purchase of decorations, but we'll need to double check getting a back to
am I able to just ask, there's one here on the 7th of the 12th, which it says Trees of Martinborough was the group, but it says Trees for Golf Course. And I'd really like that to be changed just because of the fact that they cut down all those trees last year, and I don't want people thinking that one, condone that, or two, that we decided to give them more money to plant trees. It wasn't It wasn't for that, it was for plantings,
I think
for
that,
a path, yeah.
Yeah, as a point of detail, it wasn't actually even trees, but
Yeah, it was,
anyway, we haven't,
plantings.
he hasn't been,
And it wasn't for the golf, like people read golf course and think it's the golf club, and it was for plantings around a path, wasn't it? A walkway.
well, it's to form a path.
Yeah.
But anyway, I understood that that money was approved, but it hasn't been paid out. But is that one of the ones that you're saying is in?
Yeah.
Is there any reason why?
It's committed.
Through you two, the main reasons that money doesn't go out is we're still waiting on an invoice, or we're still waiting on bank account details, or there is some clarification needed on the final amount to pay out.
for the tree, I thought you were taking care of that, Karen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to my committee. They need to give. You'll only put on the account if there's an invoice.
But yeah, we can have a look and see what we can.
Because last time money was put into the tree account, and of course, we've got the invoices, but we didn't have to have them before the money went in. So
Yes,
it's a different process this time?
No, so through you, Chair, we need to, each time a grant is applied for, they need to reinstate their bank account details, obviously. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes people put on maybe a different bank account and we want to double check. So those are some of the reasons. Karen, I'm not sure for this one, but we can find out for the
Thank you.
expert.
That's excellent. Yeah, no problem.
Have an action, look at what commitments have been collected and why some have not.
Yep.
Pull that apart and look.
Have a look at it, yep. I think Karen, you can probably solve one of them straight away, can you? Okay, is there anything else you want to go through in the detail?
No, I just wanted to clarify how it read there.
Okay. So have we finished with that report? Any other discussion you want to have on that report?
I'm wondering if there might be a way that we could perhaps talk to, do we know anyone that's quite active with regards to the Martinborough swimming pools? Is there a local, oh yeah, so Nikki, right, excellent.
Yeah, through you, Chair, I know Charlotte Harding has had conversations with a couple of locals in regards to Martinborough.
Okay, fantastic. Be really good if she wanted to bring anything here. I know we have some funds with regards to that. But I think it'd be really good to again look at having someone that might be able to teach them swimming. But also the grounds.
Through you, Chair, I think there is some community interest to do like polls, so yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be favourite.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
And I am shocked. Don't tell me that Charlotte's involved. And something to do with the Martinborough.
Yes.
She's amazing. Okay.
Okay, so the statement, move to the statement of pain farms?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question around, sorry?
Sorry.
So the question I had was about the consultants. Do we need to raise a question about what that was for?
Just pick that question and take it back.
Sorry?
We'll take that response that we brought back to find out what the details.
Okay, thank you.
And also there was, so in the previous report, there was a 10,000 showing under repairs and maintenance.
It's not there now, so I'm guessing that it was coded incorrectly and it's moved,
Right,
Okay,
which is why it swapped lines.
right, I see what you mean, okay. And the other thing is with regards to the income and that again, I understand that we'd really like it looked into what's going on with the refuse station. That had always been paying a rental just until the last few years, so
Points on the agreement.
thank you very much.
I think they have paid
Well,
it.
it's just not here on the
No,
income.
that's not- it's
I
not
don't know if they have.
No, maybe they haven't. Okay, so the other one with the insurance claim, Janice, with your accounting knowledge, is that still sitting in a fund doing nothing or?
It's just sitting there waiting for a decision to be made.
Okay, right, so I guess we have to look at now, are we entitled to make that decision or is that coming from council?
I thought we were just gonna get rid of it. What's the decision that needs to be made? Wasn't it the fact that it was
It's been demolished.
been demolished?
Didn't you think the cost of the demolition might
I
go
would have thought that would have popped up somewhere and we taken
It
extra
is.
number. But
$5,928 to demolish?
Yeah, it says that the demolition of the garage was offset with the insurance claim received in 22-23.
Where does it say that?
And then there's the 30, just down below, with one of the,
Under repairs and maintenance.
Offset.
under commentary. So it's just wondering,
But it's not offset in the figures, is it? It's not.
no, and then there was still the 30,000 that's left over there.
It hadn't been.
Improvements, but it's like, hang on a second, that already said that there wasn't a garage or anything. So what's going on with those funds? Are they able to be fed back through to the plain farm account, or is that something else that could be looked at?
I think was there one thing in the insurance that we had to do something with it? And wasn't there some thought of putting in a?
I'd like to say that where it said that in the insurance claim, it didn't say anything like that. That was just one of the options that was given at the time, I think.
And whether you've claimed to replace or whether you've claimed the indemnity value. There are two different
Are
values.
you able to have a look at that for us as well? Just because
Interesting.
we were advised that there was no point in building another garage
Not on the site.
on that site.
And you wouldn't build one for 30,000?
No, she wouldn't build. Yeah. And that, so it was just gonna be like the pad, right? So,
Yeah, through YouTube, my recollection was it was demolished and there was no resolution to rebuild or replace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We agree with that. It's just, what's the fund doing?
yeah.
To make some action to move it somewhere.
I thought we'd agreed that we would allocate it to improve some other improvements.
Well, there was thought of putting a carport in closer to the house, but I don't know if that ever went anywhere.
Well, also, I don't think there's anywhere to put it that wouldn't sort of obstruct.
Yeah.
There was.
That's exactly right. We went out and had a look at it through you, Mr. Chair, but we went out there and had a look just when it was being demolished, and there just wasn't an appropriate place, I guess, for an alternative, because it would still have to be, even if you were doing it, it has to be still far away from the house, just like the old one. Yeah, there was otherwise close up, it's got a big circular driveway to the door.
There was talk of putting a decent stove in the kitchen or something like that, that would be of benefit to the tenants.
If we can use that funds for that, there are things we could do there.
Yeah, it's pretty basic kitchen, for example.
Nikki,
Well,
do you know if that we could do anything with that fund? If it's sitting there doing nothing, could we do it to improve internally? What's in this?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, I can't remember. I know that Sarah has had conversations in regards to this. I just need to double check.
Okay.
Um,
Can we ask you to double check that and just tell us, because I think we need to do something with that fund. It shouldn't just be sitting there.
I think there's quite a few small projects that could be done in the homestead that would be a great improvement.
However, if they're already paid for under grounds maintenance, demolition of garage, repairs and maintenance, either standard or repairs and maintenance buildings, then we just,
already been done.
yeah, so we just need to know that or see what it is that needs to be done, and I mean see what needs to be done. If you want a new stove, I'd like to see the old one. You know, I am
talking about repairs and maintenance, we're talking about enhancing the.
Yeah.
No, but you see, there's a whole lot of stuff here that's being done, like a whole lot of stuff is being spent. A whole lot of stuff is being spent, and we're saying, is any of them, well, that's just one of the ones that she used, so, yeah.
There's one
Because
taken, the repairs and maintenance were totaled 16,000.
About more than just.
Yeah, 16, it's almost 17,000,
Yeah. So what was done on those? I don't know.
and that's not including the buildings, because the buildings is down lower.
How do you get 17,000
It's not 16,892. The repairs and maintenance
16,892.
full year.
for a full year? That's
And-
quite high, isn't it?
That's the budget,
An old house.
That's just the budget, is it?
budget.
That's the whole property for both properties, or just there's two houses? Do we know?
It's a house and a cottage.
Cottage, grounds, But not for the whole lot, it's not excessive, is it? I don't know. There's not enough detail, there never is. There used to be a lot of detail about every penny that was spent on Payne Farm back in the day.
Bank statements used to be
Bank
what arrived at the
statements.
Martinborough Community Board table,
Now
so
we
that
get,
everything was
I never saw a
completely
bank statement.
transparent.
I never saw a bank statement since I've been on the community board.
oh, I haven't seen anything that makes any sense, but you have.
Sorry,
Mel.
I mean historically, Pip, I wasn't talking
Yeah, yeah.
about
No,
now.
I've been here
Yeah.
7.5 years, so. And I'm just saying that there were never bank statements to the table, but possibly there may have been much prior to that. I don't know.
I have seen in the past itemised accounts of every piece of expenditure really up, above a sort of very small amount. Far more detail than we now get, far more. We've been asking for it ever since I've been on the community.
So in those repairs and maintenance,
So with,
in that December quarter, 7,100 spent, that's outside the scope that was on any one project. We give
which one's that?
the 7,100, it's under the December budget. So the second column.
Yes,
So,
the budgeted expenditure on repairs, yes, 7,130.
so the thing is, we give the council carte blanche up to 5,000 to spend. And I take it that's any one item. So do we need to know what happened to that expenditure? Do we want to know about that?
Not only if it's, like
If it's,
if it's gone into an overhead allocation, but actually it's a new oven, probably need to know that, so that way we're not buying a new oven.
be a very good oven.
Due to driveway improvements, we're told in the commentary,
Hmm.
higher than expected costs and repairs and maintenance due to driveway improvements. And yes, it does confirm that the consultants were for the open tender.
So the rates will start the same amount, I'm assuming, so the rates stay at that 11,845 right through until the end of June. Because it's the full year, right?
Should be.
Well, I'm concerned about what rates and things that might actually look like if there was a change to its status.
Yes.
Good point. There's quite a few ramifications of a change of status, isn't there, potentially?
Well, we would go from owning a
A farm, a residence.
farm and actual quality land and quality homes to trash.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little upset.
I can understand. Okay. Right. So do we need to get clarification of this, or do we need to request a sit down and discussion?
Would it be fair to say that a lot of what the type of things that we're asking for, we will get those answers when Janice brings the report back to the table. So yeah, with a little bit more.
Is that report going to look at this detailed, Janice?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to understand
And
how it works myself, so.
Okay.
and have a look at the agreement, like work through all of those things to come back to the table, so.
Okay, so we're going to put this to the side. That'll be part of what Janice's report will
Will be an action item.
It's already in the action.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, any other questions around that? I just could make a note. Nikki, you're going to look at that insurance one, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, just let us know what should be happening with that.
Yeah. I guess anything that can be released back into it would be good, and so that's as well with grants and things like that. If they haven't been picked up, then we just need to know so we can move it back.
Okay, do we want any further discussion on the Payne Farm?
The only thing I'm wondering is with regards to the farm. how that's getting on, like it's all got the new farmer in there, and does it all go ahead and it's, I just note that it looks like that may be where some of the money may have dropped off, I don't know, so.
We did have a period of non-activity, so non-occupancy.
Yeah, yeah.
That would affect it. Stephen, can you tell us, is there a signed contract with a police person on the farm?
No, I'm sorry, I don't want to give you the wrong information, so I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, so I'll leave that for a question we need to.
Are you talking about, sorry, are you talking about the residents or the land?
For the land.
For the farm.
Yeah, sorry.
Do we know why there'd be a slightly less amount of income? Because surely, than budgeted, because surely that's quite well defined under the lease.
Not getting any rental, we're not getting.
Yeah, I think, you know, when the lease turned over, I think that's where
Oh, it's just
possibly,
been the-
yeah, because I think that happened at the end of September
Right.
or something, or it was somewhere around there, so I'm just looking at possibly that might be where the deficit, but I don't know.
The lease was earlier than that. The lease was due for the renewal in April.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, but no, there was, oh.
Okay.
Is it?
It was late, but I don't think it was that late. It wasn't too early.
Mm.
As usual, there's not much detail, I think.
Okay, so. We have what for that?
For the lease?
Yep.
So do you like representation?
Would like to know what the current lease is for the farm.
The farm has been leased
We had that.
and the information.
It has to be quite a short lease, doesn't it, because of this water thing hanging over it, but wastewater.
That was one of the obstructions, people taking up the lease.
And the lease itself is quite short, I think. 3 years.
3 years.
We have had that,
And
we have actually had that information.
no,
Could be 3 years.
that came ahead.
Yes,
we did. Don't want to talk about it too much, so.
Okey doke. So if you just. Not a question to.
Yeah, what is the current lease for the farm?
Okay,
Implying like length of lease.
Taken.
Sorry, has it been what?
Taken up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, do we go to 9.4? We finished the discussion on Payne Farm.
Yeah.
So we'll move on from there.
Aye, we're good.
You happy?
So.
Yep.
three financial assistance report.
Okay, so 3 financial assistance reports. Can I have a mover on item 9.4?
I'll move it.
9.3, but it's 9.4, what's it?
I'll second it then.
Oh, that would be me. I do apologise.
So is it 9.3?
Oh, yeah, no.
No, it is 9.3, 9.3. Because we're.
I've got it as 9.4.
Yeah,
That all.
obviously, Walker Square to Payne Farm, so it'll have come into the income.
Payne Farm is comes under the income, just as a group of
Second
financial
appendix.
statements all come in together,
There's the appendix.
work out the numbering.
You'll get the number of corrections,
Okay.
but we'll call it for the time being 9.4, because that's what's on the main agenda.
Okay.
Can I have a mover? Decided.
Yep.
Yep, second it. Thanks, Karen. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
Yeah.
because now it can affect the cricket grounds are actually moving, aren't they? Yeah, because it's going to Coronation Park. It's always been the rugby and the football grounds.
but it's
Um,
still your movement comes in.
I've
Going from the school.
So you have a problem with that, do you?
no, I just think,
I think Martinborough Rugby Club
it
might
would have been
be,
good if she'd had letters of support from the other clubs,
Yeah.
like from the club secretaries of the other clubs saying that it had all been like that everyone was happy with it. That's my only concern, because it is already at the moment being used by 2 other sports clubs.
There's a lot of
Yep.
activity on that park, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And it was hearsay that she said she'd spoken to someone, but it's a little bit vague, isn't it?
It's not that I don't believe,
No,
please don't think.
no, we're not saying that.
Yeah. I literally, it's just that because there are at the moment 2 sports clubs currently using it, I just think we just, is it possible for us to be able to send out a letter from the Martinborough Community Board just asking for a letter from each of them to confirm that this is all what they're after, and then we can look at
Yeah.
because I just don't.
You'd prefer us to do it than Steph?
Well, I mean, we could ask Steph, maybe just say to her that we just need a little bit of
I think.
information.
Ask her
If she's been dealing with them, might be easier. She's probably already got the contact, so just from each of the secretaries. And like I said, my only other concern was it just last year, those old grounds got ripped up.
What got ripped up?
Grounds. Car went through.
Somebody went in there and did
Or the
donuts.
year before, and they did all those donuts and ripped up the grounds. Now, if it was artificial turf, what kind of damage would we be talking? I'm just, that's a concern for me, and I mean, vandalism is just, it could happen anywhere. It could happen on any of the grounds, but if
I don't know
it's
how we-
artificial turf rather than,
I don't know how we can answer that one, to be honest. It's,
Well, wouldn't the club though have insurance?
oh yeah, maybe.
so the question we're going to raise is go back to Steph and ask, can she get us letters of support from the 2 other sporting organisations?
From the other 2, yeah, who are currently using the
We've
grounds.
got something on.
Yeah.
I think that's quite wise, don't you? Yeah. Yes.
Oh, thank you, 'cause I just wasn't,
No,
yeah.
No,
I just thought I should bring that.
Yeah.
because that's my only concern. I just can't see anything in what she's provided.
but she talked about one father of children who's involved with both. But it's not necessary to say that the whole club is aware of it.
Yeah, I just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how,
So we'll do that. We'll ask her to do
I
that.
think that might be best, just
And
just so we've covered everything.
to provide us with a letter from each.
So ticked it off.
And that would be my only thing too. It is, if it's going to become a multi-use sports ground,
Yeah,
which I'm not against. I mean, this is, I think though that the best thing we can do right here at the beginning is set some good relationships. And just by doing that in advance, yeah, it will just, clear a lot of mess that could
Yeah.
potentially raise its head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just clear some things for us there. That'll be good. Any other issues you want to bring up?
it is.
Oh, sorry, because that was the only other thing, because if we're talking about digging up for artificial grass, didn't the Martinborough Rugby Club were no longer allowed to do their the camping on there. Now, so there was something that council said around creating damage on the grass and things was why they stopped them from being able to have that. It was through an honesty box as well, but which was fine. That was but that so they used to provide that camping to keep people off the grass verges, because of course they're allowed to freedom camp anywhere. There was something that council said that stopped them from being able to do that around the nature of the land and the way it was meant to be kept. So if we can get some clarification around Coronation Park, maybe that last decision that was only
It was only a few years ago when they used to just hold it over like when the fair and things like that were on. It was never a big thing, but.
So you, that would have been 2018, 2019, because I remember that. Yeah.
It would have been roughly, but maybe if we can just ask officers to have a look at the decision on that.
Making sure we're not replacing something.
Yeah, just in case
could
we're
become
going to put
contentious.
artificial turf and then it turns out it's meant to be about the grass. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not allowed to drive on there. Yeah.
So we're saying, can we clarify that if they put an artificial turf pitch on the ground, that it will meet any requirements or It's about the use of that.
Yeah, I think it's important to find out what it was that stopped the previous activity there to ensure that it still meets
It's not
the
the
same.
part of the park, is it? That there-
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Over by those trees.
So it's down there and that's where the soccer grounds are. The rugby grounds are the ones that are along Moore region.
You're in that strip, but anyway.
Yeah, so it's
Talking about that strip in front of the trees.
So what you're talking
Sorry,
about is
Karen, you won't be able to watch them from your house.
Oh, anything through our beautiful hedge.
so you're gonna make,
So clarification around when the decision was made to not allow freedom camping on the park.
And yeah, so the reasons behind that. And that basically,
Does-
they'll leave this as football purpose.
does any of this contravene that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because I appreciate the work that certainly that Steph has put into this, and I also completely agree. I mean, I think this where they live was always going to come up with Martinborough School building the hockey turf. That takes up so much of the school grounds, but of course that if they were building it, they were building a proper turf, fair enough. So it just means that there isn't anywhere,
Yes,
so
it's
I mean,
needed.
so if we can try and if they can't go to Coronation Park, I would like to be thinking we would be able to look to support them to go somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Presumably they have looked into all the ramifications of doing what they're asking for money to do.
you hope so.
But I think you don't know. You don't necessarily know.
They may not have seen what happened in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But I would be very keen to have this come back.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so specifically to this, there is an application from the Martinborough Junior Cricket Club to review their application.
To you, Chair, given your current discussion, you could let the resolution lapse.
Yep, that's what I was going to suggest. We don't do anything further with it.
So just leave it in the lapse.
Yeah, but with those actions to go back to Steph with regards to.
Letters of support and also checking, clarifying around when the decision was made about the freedom.
Yeah, and the reasonings behind it. So that's from officers.
And the reasons behind that.
Yeah, so that's clarification from officers.
Yep, yeah, that's.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. Do we need to touch anything on those financial considerations?
No, we don't have to do anything.
Okay, leave that. So I'll move on to action items. Should have called, I suppose. Can I have a nominator to receive the action items?
Oh, yes, all right. They're here.
Okay, I'll second. The action items report, do we want to go this line by line? Or is there something we can just bypass?
Is there any questions?
Any questions? That's probably a good answer. Way to do it.
Does anyone have any questions about the action items? Any updates?
I thought we got rid of some of these.
The grey ones,
The grey ones are actually gone.
the grey ones are the ones that have been finished.
Okay.
The grey,
Very well.
Oh, they are finished. Thank you for that.
but according to the process, we leave them in for another
I see.
thing so that it's
Something happens.
Okay,
fully visible that it's action and why.
we'll just leave them for a bit longer. Good. Thank you.
The first one, 497, where did that sit with you, Pip, or?
Which one, sorry?
No, sorry, that was me. I
Was you-
started
was it-
working on that.
Okay.
This is still, listen, mana whenua aren't opposed to having a town sign or anything. It is just there's, I think I keep bringing this to the table, but it is South Wairarapa District Council, I believe, are doing some work around consistency, ensuring that all three towns have the same entrances. So we were told, to just basically, we were told to wait until that was sort of decided on. But Greytown haven't been allowed to put anything up, and So that's just sort of where this is sitting right now is,
On hold.
well, yeah, it's on hold, but as I say, it certainly wasn't anything in my discussions with mana whenua that they were opposed to. It just is that we don't know what it's even going to look like.
Can you clarify something for Mel then? Is this the sign that's going over the top of the hill?
No,
No.
this is a welcome to Martinborough.
Welcome to Martinborough sign, so nothing's really, this is brand new, okay.
It's not replacing the one that's still got the uprights there on the.
No, that's the,
One underneath it,
Bubbles cutting.
731.
that's what Bubbles.
Sorry. So there's another sign proposed, which is a welcome to the town.
So Stefan, can you
Yeah.
advise anything about welcome to Martinborough signs? Are we doing one? Are we planning to have one?
Welcome to Greytown, welcome to.
There isn't a program to work around welcome signs for the three towns.
Okay.
But I agree, with the previous comment, Chair, that, I recall there was 100,000, I think, which was allocated into the LTP to look at having
So-
signs that were consistent across the district. So you had a same kind of feel to the signs, but that was just, I remember a passing comment about that. I've never seen anything progress in that
progressing
in
it.
relation to that.
Okay.
Like, it just says, welcome to Martinborough. No,
Sorry. No, am I able
Welcome to
to ask?
Greytown. Oh, my, am I?
So am I able though? Yeah, exactly. You're right, but because it is just, if we can get
Oh, wait,
an idea of what the signs, because what the signs could look like,
Yeah.
you know.
Janice can answer that, Mel, hang on.
Illuminate us.
I think the problem that we've got on all three is that they're all on state highways.
Oh,
So
gosh.
putting the signs in the roading corridor is not necessarily our decision.
So we need to talk to the landowners?
It's a TA,
NZTA, we're all on state highways.
state highway corridor in all three spaces.
Which is why the consistency, is that why? Like, I'm just thinking of places like when you're driving up through Dannyburg and through, I mean, trust me, Dannyburg looks nothing like Waiparks. Mate, it's like.
Depends on the sign and where you're putting it and how it responds if it's in a collision. So I know we're having conversations.
That's with Edison, yeah, no.
Frangible. Yes.
Frangible, that new word.
We're struggling with the Featherstone one, so
Yeah.
So is there any background as to why there hasn't been a NZTA sign for Martinborough?
Oh, no, I don't think it's, I don't think that NZTA determine what the signs have to look like. The consistency that was discussed, and I believe it was around the council table, the consistency that was talked about with us as a district, as a region, South Warrior District Council, having something consistent that we liked. And it wasn't an NZTA determined thing. It was, you know, what should we have signs that look the same across our three?
I wouldn't have thought so, like all three towns are different, like I don't remember this conversation, so I'm so sorry, Stephen, it might be,
You know,
yeah.
but I remember that's what I recall was the discussion.
Yeah.
100.
I just would never,
Some people, consistency is their highest principle.
but I mean, I get that, but
Situation. No, I just
yeah,
agree.
with a
Fran.
welcome to Martinborough sign, I just,
Anyway,
welcome to Martinborough, no, my Heidi might put it forward to NZTA, they go, yes, and that can be done, right?
Yeah, because that's all I want to know. No, that,
Ability.
Not necessarily, because
Really do think this is something that we put 100,000 into the LTP at some point, and we had a conversation about it, and then nothing has happened. One of those situations.
just a confused issue of
100,000.
if we had the business associations saying to put up a welcome sign, could we do that?
I don't think it matters who's doing it.
what is the utility of a welcome sign? I mean, $100,000? I think it'd be much better use of $100,000. What does it mean?
No, it's $30,000 per place, it's not a.
Per town.
Yeah, so it's not a.
It's mean to say welcome to Mark, really. What is that utility of that?
Oh, it's just a feeling.
Appeal to
It's the vibe,
the vibe?
okay.
If you are, Chair, I strongly advise that you get the permission of a landowner and put it on private land, because
Can you still do that though, or does that still fall within CA because it's a sign coming into town?
anything you like on private land,
Uh,
provided it doesn't distract drivers,
Yeah,
but
no, it's not.
it is very, very difficult to put stuff on the road.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting this is the business association trying to do that.
Yeah.
Just suggesting if we had another source of funds,
Anyone can do it.
they could fund it.
No,
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's where we need to talk to mana whenua.
Yeah, okay, we'll move on from that. We'll just leave them sitting in.
So, but if we were to get permission to use a spot of land that wasn't, so that is private land, then we'd be able just to carry on with it and bring forth a sign to council to, okay?
Do you think we should canvass the community? Is there any
They could
enthusiasm?
help design it.
Is there any enthusiasm for such a thing?
Well, that's how it came to the table in the first place. I mean, it wasn't that long. It was May 2022. So I don't think things have changed that much.
So who brought it to our attention then?
So that was just from the community, from having the meetings and, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was aware of that.
Thank you.
There is enthusiasm.
yeah, lots of people just don't understand why we don't have one and most towns do.
Right.
Yeah.
But neither does Featherston and neither does Greytown. And the
Yeah.
reason none of us do is because we've all been waiting.
It's okay.
To be allowed
Yeah.
Great. But if we're allowed, let's do it.
So we'll move on from that. Thank you. Now the Culinary College one, I see we've got an answer there. Are you happy with it, Stefan? James has given us the answer there.
Yes.
It was one of the applicants for funding, asking for money to use, and they could use the school, which was part of the MOU that they had. So I think we ticked that box off, haven't we?
That's great.
Excellent.
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 Okay.
I like to see them.
Oh,
Can I ask Stefan about 492, which I think Aidan and Councillor Woody went out and looked at. I haven't had a response. I tried to talk to Aidan about it. Is anything happened to respond to that?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, Aidan's been down and had a look at the area, and he does a few photos. And so we're looking at there's two issues there. There's the fire risk because of trees and scrub, and then there's the request to investigate whether there's water, specifically wastewater, coming down the hill.
Yep.
So in relation to the fire risk, I've asked the team to have a look at that, but I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of other areas in Martinborough at the moment that we would probably go and pay attention to first. It's not in our view, looking at the area, and I've been down there as well, it hasn't reached a point where we would get in and clear. We're clearing other areas first that are much, much worse.
leaks and overflow.
But that said, it has been logged for attention, so it's in a priority queue.
The process, yeah.
The wastewater issue is a little bit more difficult. I've been down there and I can't see water coming down the hill. I couldn't find any water. And I went up to the, I walked that forestry road that goes up to the wastewater treatment plant, jumped the fence, had a look at the distribution field, and I can't see any water at all. I can't see any flow, any sort of sign of water coming down the hill from the plant. And that's consistent with, Aidan did say, and I know this is true, that water is coming out of this side of the hills from springs. And we do that from time to time, and that can be when you get rain, when the water tables up. That increases the flow. But nothing is showing me, unless I'm missing something, nothing is showing me that there is possibly wastewater coming down that hill. So look, I don't know what more I can really offer there.
Okay, is there going to be any testing? I even left me with a question mark if there was going to be testing of any water that was flowing.
Look, if we see a significant, I mean, obviously when it rains,
Yeah.
quite a lot of water comes down that hill. When it doesn't rain, very little water comes down that hill. So what that tells me is that it's stormwater flow. It's not wastewater flow. Because if there was wastewater overflow, you'd be seeing it all year. You know, so if there's evidence that any kind of evidence at all that it's wastewater, really happy to test it. But I'm not.
Haven't been able to find any.
Evidence, yeah.
Okay. Just a question from my enlightenment. If you have water coming from a station, do we have any responsibility as a council to channel that, or is that just natural? You understand what I'm saying? So if you've got two properties,
Yeah.
above the other, and the water's coming off the property above.
It depends on the rules of nuisance, Chair, really. I mean,
And the resource consent that was issued.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's yes, in certain circumstances. You have I mean, for example, there were a couple of properties on Lake Ferry Road where they were experiencing inundation of stormwater from our property down into their property, and it's sort of in good faith. We installed some drains and we got a digger in there to try and divert the water away from their properties, and that was successful. There still is quite a lot of water coming down that hill, but they live at the bottom of a very steep hill.
Yeah.
In the middle of a bad winter, they're going to get water on their property, you know. So it really depends on the situation.
Okay.
But we try.
I was just trying to find out if there was any definition that we used across the board, or whether it was a case by case scenario.
Law of nuisance and consent.
Yeah.
If it's construction of housing, then it's usually dealt with in the resource consent in terms that you have to divert stormwater and put attenuation.
Yeah.
So that would be part of the resource consent.
Okay, thank you for that.
With 501, are we able just to, if we can just get confirm and have something in there that just states that it was incorrect costing or cost centre, sorry, or whatever. Can it just be in there just so then that way it can be closed?
Yep.
I don't know why that's still open.
The detailed response for next time, I believe.
Yeah, just so then it can be closed. So we know exactly where the 10 was.
Does that take care of all our action items?
Hang on. I don't know why I thought we still had an action item around receiving updates on Hinakura Road. But that's not in there. Can I just ask Stefan, is there a way to get an update on Hinakura Road? I don't know.
It comes out every 2 weeks on Hinakura Road.
Giving quite
Yeah.
updates.
I was going to say there have been updates
Sorry.
going out that are available to everybody.
Sorry, that wasn't. I might just take this offline. It was just regarding an email.
From a resident?
And the responses from a resident that came back from Alex's comms plan, but just around some queries that they had around how we're going to look after the road.
The rest of it.
There was just so she had questions around the state of the rest of Hinakura Road, so not just the broken bit, but the rest of it. I've
received those issues, and I've logged them into the system. So it was things like, you know, cutting back the vegetation so you've got better visibility. There's some potholing and subsidence, and you know, there's various issues on that road as there is on, you know, all of our roads.
But we know it has been exacerbated by the additional use of having to use it because they didn't have the access to that way. So the additional use that's had to be used for the rest of it is we know it's caused more issues with that road. And also, I think when we first went out there, Stefan, we had that conversation about some of those trees that were even at that time, like on the road, we knew that there was that issue. But our issue was not being able to, at that time, get the work, you know, like the sizable machines out there, I think.
We have technically logged that work. I can't tell you when it will be done. At the moment, you know, there's a lot of priority work being done, including the realignment of the, you know, getting the road open, and we're still, of course, trying to keep the Admiral Hill route open for all traffic. But that work on the length of Hanakura Road has been logged.
Oh, fantastic. So are you able to?
So do you have something?
That
No?
email or?
Yeah, I can go back to the resident, yes.
Mhm, yeah.
Because the other part, though, that I'm very interested in was around the tonnage permits, whether or not the road was going to be open to all traffic and, you know, so of course, and is it going to be built to a standard that can, if it's open for logging trucks, because I think that's what we're specifically talking about, but if it's open to fully loaded logging trucks, will the road be able to take it? Or is there, building a brand new road, will we put a limit on it?
The road is going to be reinstated to the same service level that it was before, which means it'll be capable of taking fully loaded logging trucks and articulated stock trucks and trailer dairy tankers and all that kind of thing. So I think the question from the resident though was, should logging trucks be able to use the road along with other?
Because they didn't want it ruining it, yeah.
Activity. That's a different question. But if the question is it going to be all vehicles, all access, and no tonnage restriction, then the answer to that is yes.
Thank you.
Now, does
Thank
that
you. I
answer
just
your
want to know.
question?
This is just a question I get asked all the time, so thank you for that.
So when you just mentioned there, the logging truck scenario, where's that sitting? Is that being answered or questioned or?
Well, that's a wider issue of, you know, is it desirable or is it legal to somehow charge logging companies more money to use roads? So I'm sorry, that's a much broader issue. But I can say that what I've heard from residents the past couple of years in Hanakura is that they're trying to protect their primary sector activity, and that would obviously include forestry as it's an important part of the rural economy.
Well, it's a pretty common question currently about forestry trucks and things like that. And I don't know whether we did something independent or followed it through. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Mel, you happy?
No,
with,
that's good. That's
happy
good.
with the answer there?
Absolutely, that's great. Thank you. And thank you, Stefan. If you were going to reply back to Beck and just let her know, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Right. We now move on. So we'll call that finished. We'll now move on to members' reports. We've got two members' reports. 10.1. Can I have somebody
Yeah.
second
I'll
it?
second it. Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to discuss what is there?
Yeah.
Angela didn't leave it clear to me which option she was favouring. Do you have any?
She did text me after she said she wouldn't be making this meeting to say that it could wait till next time. It's not urgent.
Okay, so for that reason, we'll move it on.
Yes.
And move on to action next meeting.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
The second one is relating to the resilience. And I think one thing she would like and has recommended that the community will put aside 300 for the purpose of covering incidentals.
Yeah.
Have any discussion about that? I support that being done.
Yep.
Does anybody have any objection to that?
No,
It possibly may not be used, but it could be used for incidentals, whatever crops up.
Well, that can come out of our well-being.
It's 10.2. We haven't received it. have
No,
we?
not
No,
yet.
can we have a nomination?
Is that able to come out of the well-being?
Let
That's where it's kind of sits.
me do the first thing.
Oh, okay, I thought that was the first
No,
thing.
no, you've got to move it.
Oh, and then shake it.
Agenda 10.2, yep.
Pick it about.
That's fine.
So I've got that in. So the thing we've got to do with that is just whether we want to put the $300 aside as a potential backup for
I second you moving that. Yes,
Okay.
from the,
Yep.
we've got the wellbeing,
Well,
that fits under that, doesn't it, with the resilience? Wouldn't that's exactly what it, community wellbeing?
Winded process of making an application.
So which budget are you pulling out of?
I thought it was coming out of the community board funding, but,
What's our fund for?
We put aside $300 for the purpose of of covering incidental expenses, refreshments related to community resilience meetings and workshops.
Yeah.
Paid out only when a completed expense claim and receipts are returned.
but that would come out of the
The
NCB.
Community Development Fund.
Oh, can we just check that? Are we able just to check? Sorry, Janice, are we able just to check? Is that able to come from the Community Development Fund? No, what's the Community Development Fund? Wellbeing Fund, no.
We've got a.
What's our one? That's to be. It is the Community Development Fund from.
Customer operations budget as well, benefits related to catering, or items like that with the meeting.
Yeah,
Is that not appropriate? Operations then.
Yeah. This is, yeah, because we'll be holding these community resilience meetings and workshops, and so it's just to cover. any
Incidentals.
refreshments and incidentals that we might
so
need.
what are you saying that funding's coming from?
So through each year, I think in the past, Angela has received some funding to provide a bit of kind or some biscuits or
Cup of tea?
yeah, tea, and it's come out of the operations budget.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
okay. That makes sense because then that would have been what the September event was.
Yeah,
The bigger event, so that's kind of what that was under that, wasn't it? Operating.
okay,
Okay. Well, she's also said that it is to be paid out only when a completed expense claim and receipts are returned.
yes.
Yeah.
She's on top of that.
So through your committed in your balance sheet, until that time.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So as Angela's not here to speak to it, we'll just consider that
Yeah.
released and accepted.
Done that.
So I think we've come to the end of the meeting.
Well, the only other item is this Waihinga.
Yeah, was agenda item 10.2. The Martinborough project incorporating the Waihinga Bridge. So that's the now I do want this noted if it's through you,
Yes.
Mr. Chair. So through you, Mr. Chair, there is desire and support within the community around the Waihinga Bridge. So Aidan for the community board and Charlotte and Alan, I don't know who else there was involved, but the Business Association was on board because, of course, when the bridge closes, their members are affected. So we were looking to gather the data to go as supporting documents to our application to NZTA to repair the Waihinga Bridge, because that's what, actually, because Aidan got all this advice from the last minister when he came down and had a look at it. And while they were there were nearly 3 accidents.
That's always.
It's about the safety of the sort of lead up to.
No, that's so narrow.
Everything
It's
about
narrow,
it.
but I thought it was also
Can I just
vulnerable
interrupt?
structurally.
Dennis, didn't we have a conversation at our meeting about this? We had this discussion with our meeting with Janice about what we could do. We suggested perhaps a multi-teamed approach to NZTA, but I don't know that we resolved action.
We're actually meeting
So there was-
NZTA tomorrow, so we're going to bring it up with them tomorrow.
Okay,
Could we just clarify what the issues are, the narrowness
I thought
or the
they'd be amazing.
structural integrity of the bridge?
I thought it was the safety of the approach, narrow.
That's basically it's everything.
Go around the corner, you can't see what's coming on the bridge before you hit the bridge.
No.
I've done it myself.
And it's the debris underneath it as well, the build up there for any.
We talked about contacting Greater Wellington to remove the tree that's been lodged under there since I've been here.
Because it was really interesting that they built, so like I actually remember this, it was the water never used to actually come all the way to the bridge, but when they built the additional part, that used to work. So if for any reason, like Jenkins Stip flooded, Jenkins Stip would flood, but the bridge wouldn't. So Jenkins, that bridge actually did its work, but then they changed the flow of the river. And so now it's literally like the bridge itself is so dangerous and the water gets all the way to the top of the bridge consistently, like more than, more than
At
once or
least twice a
twice a
year.
year.
At least 3 last year.
Yeah, and so it gets all the way up there with the debris as well, and so it has to be shut down. And you could almost, and then the bridge that they built over Jenkins Dip, sometimes it's already flooded on the other side of it, so you couldn't even use it if you could get over it because of it's the change in flow. So, I mean, all of those things, kind of come into play when you look at it down the years, like on what happens as it erodes further and further away. So it's pretty scary stuff.
I think one of the big, through you, Mr. Chair, I think one of the big issues as well around that is we see when it floods the huge amount of debris that gets caught under the. The concern is the concern is what happens if it all of a sudden comes loose and rushes down and blows out all the rest of the infrastructure along the Ruamahanga River between here and the sea.
Like Fury.
Because that can happen. Like we know, we've seen it happen in Gisborne and, all these other places. So it's
Finish very shortly.
we really need to be on top of those things to ensure the ongoing use of our own infrastructure.
We're just going to close up shortly. Stefan, just one question. The water, the action going on in the redirection of the river at the moment, is that us or
No,
regional council?
it's GW.
Who stays on top of them though? To ensure that that's actually happening. It was like when we thought that we could use the paddock, to get rid of some of the debris because they just moved on to the side of the river as it went down, and then then it became council again having to move it, and so we got permission to move it to the other piece of land. They need to remove it, not just move it onto the side for then it becomes a council problem,
We
did remove it.
What we do is if we get a complaint from the community about something that's in the GW remit, we make that representation on behalf of our customers to them, and then we follow it up, and that happens regularly.
Okay. So are we reassured that structurally that bridge is sound?
Yes, we are. The integrity of the bridge structurally is fine.
It's not the issue.
It's inspected regularly and it passes all of those works.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to have to call a close to the meeting. I'm just going to close with Eric here with an English poem. Is that all right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
You do you.
Our work has finished for the time being. Protect us all, our friends, our family. Peace to the universe.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for your time this evening and your work. I really appreciate it. Ko Marie.
Thank you.
And now, no problem.